And we're back, folks, here on WWE Network and Chill, where every single week I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking the latest edition of WWE Untold, entitled Shane and Kurt Angle's Brutal Battle. This took place at King of the Ring 2001, almost, what would it have been, 18 years ago? 18 years ago from next Monday, June 24th, 2001. This aired on Sunday night on the WWE Network just last night. Had no idea this was airing until like Sunday morning, so it was a pleasant surprise. Checked it out earlier today. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you have yet to check out the WWE Untold series, basically what it is reliving a time period, an event, a match in WWE's history, and various people involved in said match, moment, time period, whatever, giving their recollection of what was going on at that point. Obviously, Shane chimes in here. You don't actually see the people. They just kind of, you hear from them either in, you don't see them, but like you either hear them talk in person or over the phone, Skype, whatever. So we hear from Shane on this episode, obviously. Kurt Angle on this episode, obviously. Bruce Pritchard, who now works with WWE again and was working with WWE at the time of this match, helped put it together. Al Snow, who helped coordinate the match, which I had no idea about until I heard about it here. Mike Chioda, who was the referee for the match. So some really cool stuff here. We kick off the special with Pritchard saying that he says, I do remember Kurt and Shane wanting to work with each other at that point. Kurt Angle was about 2 years into his WWE run. Shane was coming off the great WrestleMania match with his own father, Vince, at WrestleMania 17. So Shane had a great year in 2001. They used the obvious, origin for their rivalry with being Kurt's medals, his gold medals. It was a pretty easy backstory, so they went with that. Shane said that it worked well. They just had great chemistry together. They had that first segment on Raw to set up the match where Kurt Angle had an angle slam on Shane off the top of the podium, which was a cool spot. So Shane starts praising Kurt Angle, says that he adapted to the business quicker and better than anyone he had ever seen before, called Shane a natural, and also said that him putting himself out there emotionally was what really helped make Shane, or rather Kurt, a success. So the match, like I said, took place at King of the Ring 2001, and both men trained for this street fight. It was not an ordinary match. It was going to be a street fight that kind of went outside both men's comfort zones. And they knew going in that they had to do things that you could not do in an ordinary match. They had to make it feel special. So, I think it was Kurt who called upon Al Snow to help put the match together because he knew of Al Snow from, their time. Kurt Angle was never really in ECW, but he'd already knew of Al Snow, knew that he was like a hardcore expert from his time in ECW. So he called upon the hardcore expert to help coordinate the match. Snow worked largely with Shane to kind of put the match together, because Shane was obviously not an active competitor, so it was going to be tougher to have Shane do a match like this than Kurt, and then Kurt Angle would stop in, and he would drop in occasionally as well. Shane says that it had all the makings to be something special, but it was also a little bit of an unknown, because Kurt Angle was obviously a wrestler. He was a wrestler's wrestler, had that background going for him, but I'm sure he had a no disqualification match in WWE prior to this point, but he didn't compete in too many of them. Kurt Angle even said a little later on in the special that he's not a gimmick guy. He's not a big fan of stipulations. He just wants to go in there and have a great wrestling match. And Shane is obviously not an active competitor. So they had to make this thing work to the best of their ability and do what they could to make it entertaining. So anyway, Shane tried some things over and over. Snow was talking about. Snow said that Shane would had this idea in his head of something that he wanted to do. And he went out there and would do it over and over and over in practice until he nailed it, until he got it down. So the story behind the match of this pay-per-view, this match was not the only match Kurt Angle had on this show. He was also simultaneously competing in the 2001 King of the Ring tournament, defending his crown from the year before. So Kurt, to tire him out because he's obviously an Olympic gold medalist, realistically speaking, it makes no sense for Shane and Kurt to go into that match even. Which is why I hate the current Shane push in WWE in 2019, because not only is he older, but also Shane's not an active competitor. So to think that he can go in there and hold his own against The Miz and Roman Reigns is laughable. But they had the great idea here of giving Kurt Angle 2 matches on the same show. So Shane helped Kurt beat Christian in one of the first King of the Ring matches. And I'm thinking to myself, why would he do that? That would make no sense if he wanted to just cost him the crown in the end. But the story here was that Shane wanted to help Kurt Angle win his first match so he could wrestle a second match so he would be even more tired before they faced off in Angle's third match. I thought that was really, really well done. Kurt Angle said he did not prepare for those matches with Christian and Edge. He was way too focused on the street fight with Shane. So Shane, like I said, cost him the second match. Kurt Angle knew, if I ended my night with those two matches, it would be a good night because both matches were good. But I had to make this a show stealer with Shane. We had to make it a great match. As soon as the match starts, Shane punches Kurt Angle right in the eye by accident, bloodies him up. Kurt Angle's already a bloody mess. And then they hit each other with everything, with the exception of the kitchen sink, but they might as well have thrown that in there too, because they went all out here with chairs, garbage cans, you name it, they hit each other with it. They went all out here. So Kurt Angle hits Shane with a suplex, a belly-to-back suplex, or no, I think it was a belly-to-belly suplex. Anyway, whatever it was a suplex on the ramp. He hit Shane with it. He thought he broke his tailbone. Didn't break it, but he cracked it pretty bad. So because of that, the whole spot here on the stage, as we all know, even if you haven't seen the match, I'm sure you've seen this moment before, with Kurt Angle suplexing Shane through those glass panels on the stage. That was the spot. But because Angle cracked his tailbone pretty bad, he couldn't do the spot to the best of his ability. Not only was that an issue, but I also found out here, which again I never knew, it was the wrong type of glass. The guy who put the glass in there reinforced it pretty good to ensure that it wouldn't break because of the pyro. So it was reinforced really, really well. So when Kurt went for the suplex through the glass to Shane obviously did not go through it. He landed right on his fucking head. You could hear it. It was ugly. It was ugly to watch. But then he did it again, and he went through the second time. All the while, Vince wanted to stop the match. He's like, don't do this shit. He's yelling at Bruce to yell at the ref, to yell at Kurt to stop the match, and to stop doing it. But Kurt didn't listen. And he would say a little later on, when the ref asked him, Mike Chioda, Chioda asked Kurt, why the fuck didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you stop when I told you to stop? Kurt Angle said, I didn't hear you. I'm deaf in this one ear. So Chioda's like, when did that happen? And Kurt said, a couple years ago, a while ago. So no one knew that. And I guess because of his deafness in that one ear of his, he couldn't hear what Chioda was saying. So he did it anyway. So anyway, Shane went to the glass the second time. And Pritchard's getting shit from Vince because the ref, they couldn't stop the match. Kurt Angle was not listening to Chioda, who couldn't, follow all the orders from Pritchard, who was then getting yelled at by Vince because these guys were still doing the same damn spot. Pritchard even went to the entranceway to talk to Chioda, to tell Kurt, stop the fucking match. Stop. But Chioda said that even if Vince came out there, it might have been Pritchard, but one of the two said that even if Vince came out there to tell him to stop, he would have still done it anyway. So he did another suplex to Shane through the other panel. It didn't work. He did it through the opposite way, so not the front but the back. It didn't work. So he said fuck it and just threw him face first through the panel. Vince was cussing up a storm backstage. Like I said, Kurt told Chioda afterward that he couldn't hear in that one ear, and that was what, he went on with the match. That's why he didn't stop. He just went on anyway. So he brings him back to the ring. Kurt brings Shane back to the ring. Shane kicks out. The match continues. And Kurt's like, shit, I'm just going to finish this off on a high note, literally, by setting up this plank, a board on the top rope, to hit Shane with an angle slam off the top rope, off this plank, and down to the mat. Chioda sees this plank, and it's about to fall through. It's about to break through or fall off the rope. These guys are going to seriously hurt themselves. So Chioda's like, I'm just going to hold the board. I'm going to do these guys a favor and hold the board. And you can see him visibly hold the board to ensure that it doesn't fall through and these guys don't kill themselves, even more than they already have. So Kurt hits the spot, great spot, wins the match with it, as he should have. And Shane remembers Kurt just saying, thank God, that it was over and that they survived. Angle knew that Vince was pretty pissed about it, but they never saw Vince right after the match. Vince kept his distance, didn't want to see Kurt, didn't want to see his own son Shane. He allowed himself to go cool down in another part of the arena, so he didn't go off on them. Meanwhile, Kurt and Shane are fucking laughing it up backstage, and they're sharing a beer. Kurt went to the hospital, and Shane says it was a very, really special moment. And Kurt said, I'm glad I did something like that in my career, because my career is largely based upon my wrestling ability. But I was glad I was able to go outside my comfort zone and do that just to say I did, and it worked out for the best, because it's one of the most remembered and fun matches that fans remember from that time period in WWE, if not ever. It's a great match. It's a brutal battle, one of the most brutal matches you will ever see in WWE. And Kurt says, of course, that he's proud of the match. Al Snow said that he was flattered and honored that he could help with them, help put the match together with them. Pritchard said that they were able to create a memory that people will never forget, like I said. And then Shane said to close it out, through that match, Kurt and I bonded. And we gave those people their money's worth of entertainment. And he said it was quite the ride. And that was it for this edition of WWE Untold, entitled Shane and Angle's Brutal Battle from King of the Ring 2001. Very good episode. Very good episode. The match itself is great. If you haven't seen the match, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, go back and watch it on the WWE Network and then watch this. So to hear the backstory behind the bout, with them not being allowed to do the glass spot because it fucked up, there was a lot of stuff about this match I did not already know. And there's a lot of these Untold episodes which are, very good. They're very well put together. They're very well produced. But I already know a lot of the information included in said episode. This one I didn't. I'm sure I've heard about some stories regarding the match before from Kurt himself and maybe Shane, but largely I don't really know too much about this match from behind the scenes. So I'm glad I watched this. It was very good. Check it out on the WWE Network. It's only about 20 minutes long. It's a quick watch. Check it out at your leisure. That being said, guys, we're having a new Network and Chill go up tomorrow. I will be reviewing the latest ride-along. I think it's Carmella and R-Truth. And I forgot who the other two people were. But that's airing tonight after Raw. I will be back tomorrow to review that here on the channel on Network and Chill. And that's about it. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We're nearing in very quickly on 3,000 subscribers. As of this video, as of this recording, I think we're closing in on 2,900, which is pretty cool. We literally just surpassed 2,500 a couple of weeks ago. Not even. So that's awesome. Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it. Bit of a disclaimer, though. I had to take down the Northeast Wrestling videos that I put up over the weekend. So if you've seen the videos and you saw that they blew up, some of them had a couple hundred views. The Moxley Darby Allin match video had almost 20,000 views. It was crazy, but I was asked to take it down before they would. They were probably going to take it down anyway. The video, if you go on the channel, is not there. What I did do, unless I'm told to not do this, I made it unlisted. So you could still check out the video if you have a link to it. And I tweeted out links to all the videos on my Twitter on Saturday morning. So if you look it up, it got retweeted a lot. It's out there. You can find it. I just can't have it on the channel anymore, unfortunately. So if you're wondering where the videos went, that's why. So again, I apologize for that. But that's it. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, subscribing, supporting the channel, all that stuff. Greatly appreciated. And we'll check back with you tomorrow here on Network and Chill for my review of the latest ride-along. Until then, guys, have a great week. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.